Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for a very special webinar sponsored by YPN, your Property Network magazine, in partnership with Arsh Ellahi. My name is Michelle Cairns and I'm your host for this webinar. And so a big thank you. You can see lots of people joining today's training, and just want to check that you can see the slides and that the audio is clear. So if everything's okay, just put into the question box at the side, yes, and which city you are joining us from today, and we will give you a shout out. So as you can see from the screen, we're going to be talking about how to find deals in a booming market and how this year is the year of opportunity for you. So we can see that, great, we've got everyone just saying hello here. So we've got Paul from Guildford, we've got Silas from Manchester, David from Dundee, Tanzila from Manchester, we've got MJ from Essex, Neil from Liverpool, not far from me. Fantastic, from all over the country. So big warm welcome to you today. Make sure you have got a pen and paper ready for today's training, because we have got lots of fantastic content for you to get your teeth stuck into. So without further ado, over to Arsh. Big warm welcome, Arsh.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Thanks for the opportunity. For those that don't know anything about me, I was just quickly looking through the attendees list, really. And it's good and it's quite refreshing to see new faces, new listeners. So I suppose my first question is, has anyone ever come across me? Have they ever heard me speak before? If you can, I'm going to try and keep this quite an interactive session. So if you wouldn't mind, first of all, saying that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly, and just let me know whether you've heard me speak before or whether you've heard me talk about this topic, because this is one that I'm quite famous, or when I say famous for, one that I speak about quite regularly. So today's session is about how to find deals in a booming market, and why I've called this year the year of opportunity. And hopefully that should have got you quite interested in the subject, because if the last 12 months is anything to go by, after the storm comes the opportunity, and I'm a big believer in that. So before we get into any of that, I want to say a quick thank you. Thank you so much for trusting me with your time, not this evening, it's this morning. Because time is probably the most precious commodity, and I guarantee that this is going to be the best investment that you make. So what we're going to be covering over the next 90 minutes, I'm going to be showing you the simple 3-step deal trading system that I've been developing and I've been using for the last 20 years. I've said developing because it's an ongoing developing process. How to use my simple 3-step process to find and trade one deal a month and create a deal sourcing business on part-time hours. And then finally, the different types of deals that you must source to open a wealth of opportunity. So there are 3 very big claims, and I don't mind saying that the very big claims there, because that's exactly what we're going to be covering in this session. But more importantly, step number 2, showing you how to find one deal every month so that you can create a deal sourcing business on part-time hours is very sustainable as a property strategy. So moving on, why should you listen to me? I appreciate there's hundreds, if not thousands, of trainers out there, people that speak about property, people that do property. I'm very proud to announce that I've been a columnist in YPN magazine. I think probably one of the longest serving ones, 6 years. 6 years plus, so every month for the last 6 years I've wrote in the magazine. I'm also a columnist in another magazine called the HMO magazine. I've featured on Channel 4 in Britain's Benefit Tenants, not one of my finer moments, should I say, but I've been runners-up and also winners of multiple entrepreneur awards. So the Entrepreneur of the Year, runner-up in the Business Muslim Awards. I've got runner-up of the year in the Natural Awards in 2018. I'm a regular speaker, lots of networking events across the UK. I'm an author of a best-selling book called Boom, Bust and Back Again. As the title suggests, property's never always been easy for me. Anyone that says that they've had it really easy, I'm very wary of. As the title suggests, boom, I've seen the good times, but I've seen some very bad times, and I'm back again to tell the tale. One thing that I'm very proud to say is that I'm not one of these people that have been on a workshop last week and I've now proclaimed to call myself an expert, and I haven't had the scars of it yet. I've been involved in property full-time for over 20 years, and I could say that I've earned my scars. I've now seen through 2+ recessions plus COVID-19, which had its own mini issues, shall we say. Plus, I've got a portfolio of approximately 1,100 tenants. So you could say that not only do I talk about it, but I definitely walk the walk. So I've got lots of HMOs, varying from 4-bed HMOs going up to a 40-bed HMO. And a lot of the tenants that we've got are working professionals, and we also deal with people on benefits. So we've got lots of tenants through a variety, and so I can talk to you about all these different methods and the issues that I've come across and what's worked well and what hasn't worked well. Finally, I'm a property investment trainer and a mentor that's helped hundreds of people achieve financial freedom. Now, over the last couple of years, you may or you may not have heard of an app which I developed. I'm the founder of an app called the Property Investor app. It's the UK's first property investment marketplace mobile app. You can go and visit it by going to our website, propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or you can download the app from the App Store by searching Property Investor. Now, why is this of real importance, especially for this session, is because when you're speaking to people about deal trading, you really need to speak to the people that who I would consider the leaders in the industry. Now, without sounding too not arrogant but confident about this, is that because I've developed this app, I'm now considered to be a market leader in this industry. So under Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, they're the 3 market leaders for property selling apps. Fourth comes the Property Investor app, and we've been on the App Store approximately 2 years, and we've done extremely well out of it. Over a 2-year period, we've now hit 28,000 investors who search the app daily for property investment deals. And why is this important? Because I'm going to give you guys the opportunity, first of all, to show you how to find deals, but then second of all, is how you can list them on this app and sell them to my database, meaning that you cut out 50% of the work. And finally, I released the podcast. It's a year old this week. Top 10 property podcast. It's called the Property Rebel. I'll call it Property Rebel because I do things slightly differently. I don't conform to the property norm. It's my kind of title for it. And I release podcast episodes every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, plus a host of other platforms. So that's a bit about me. So before we get any further, does anyone know anything about deal trading? I suppose I should ask the question, what's your experience in property? Are you completely new to property? Do you already own properties that are like single lets, buy-to-lets, HMOs? Do you know anything about deal trading, deal sourcing, deal packaging? They're all the same. Believe it or not, they're all the same. It's just the way that people describe themselves. I call myself a deal trader. People will call themselves deal sourcers. So some people call themselves deal packagers. We do exactly the same. So just having a quick look through, some people are saying completely new. Lots of people are saying that they're completely new to it. That's fine. Got Stuart says that he's got 16 buy-to-lets. Congratulations, Stuart. That's quite an achievement. So okay, brilliant. We've got a real variety of people on the session. So let's start from the beginning. So what is deal trading? Deal trading, in essence, is not a new strategy. I'm very clear on that. In essence, what we are a glorified estate agent, or what I would consider an estate agency exclusively for property investors. You help homeowners that may have been previously let down by estate agents because their house hasn't sold. And this could have been due to a variety of reasons. We're going to talk on the session about direct-to-vendor strategies as well as working with agents. And the reason why I'm going to give you both ways of approach is because you may find that one works for you and the other one may find that the other one works for them. And the reason why I say that is because if you're going direct to vendor and you're doing a direct to vendor campaign, when we talk about vendor, we talk about homeowners and people that own the property. If you're doing a direct to vendor campaign, chances are that that person will probably own 1 or 2 properties. Now that's great, but you're chasing a very small and narrow market. Now, bear in mind that everything that I say probably would have gone against the grain, against everything that other people have said. I prefer to work with agents, and the reason why I prefer to work with agents is because you don't have to go off and spend a shed load of money on marketing trying to find an owner that has got one property. I'd rather work with agents that have got 30, 40 or 50 properties on their books that can consistently keep my pipeline of deals coming through. So that is my mindset on that. And then once you've got the deal, you sell the deal onto a property investor that wants to build a portfolio. Does that kind of make sense? So whilst you're going through this presentation, think about what your approach is going to be. Are you looking to go direct to vendor? Now, I will say that going direct to vendor, naturally, you will probably get a better deal because you're dealing with the person that is selling the property. You're dealing with the person that is dealing with the finances of that property. An estate agent doesn't deal with the finances. They don't know about the pain and the motivation. They're very much a case of, do you want to buy it, yes or no? With a vendor, it's very much a case of, okay, I've got an outstanding mortgage. This is the reason why I'm selling. And we're going to be talking about some terminologies today, which is called pain and motivation. Understanding what the pain is, understanding what the motivation is, and then structuring the deal accordingly to create a win-win situation. Right, so why is deal trading so important? Because you can invest in property without buying a house, where you do not require a deposit, you do not require any experience, and you do not have any problems. Think about it from an estate agent's point of view. Does an estate agent, when they come out to value your house, do they buy your property? Do they say that they're going to buy your property? Are they acting as a buyer? No, they're not. A deal trader, a deal sourcer, a deal packager, and I'll refer to them as all three, but today we'll call them a deal trader. They are simply acting as the facilitator of the sale of the property, which is very much the same as an estate agent. So they come to you and they say, do you want to sell your property? Yes, you do. Okay, we'll figure out the best way of structuring it. And as a result of that, we then package it in a manner which a property investor would understand, and then we sell it onto the database, a database of your investors, my investors, whoever it may be, as a result, and you're facilitating the sale. You're acting as a go-between between the homeowner and the buyer, and you're making a commission from either the seller or the buyer as a result of that. And that's how a deal packager or a deal trader works. So why is it such an important key part in property investing? Now, lots of people would have said that deal trading is probably the first thing that you need to understand when you get involved in property. And I completely agree with that. The reason being is that you get to see all the best deals first. You're putting yourself out there so that you see the opportunities. And then off the back of that, you say, okay, I like this one, I don't like this one. I can give you hundreds of different opportunities where I've seen it and said, you know what, I'm buying that one myself, including a block of flats. I saw a block of flats going to auction. I did all the appraisals on it, and I thought, you know what, to be fair, that's a deal that I would do. And I ended up buying that deal. Even though I went to auction, we did a deal direct to vendor. So there are lots of ways that you can do this. Now, other benefits of deal trading includes that you don't deal with tenants because you're not owning the property, you're not managing the property, you're not dealing with letting agents because, again, you don't own, you're not managing. All the little bullet points that you see in front of us are all associated around owning or purchasing or acquiring the property. No maintenance because, again, you're not dealing with it. No mortgage companies, no surveyors, no Article 4, no HMO licensing, no property legislation. Have you noticed that recently it's becoming more and more? It's becoming more and more difficult to become a landlord. If you're in an Article 4 area, you now have to go off and get planning permission, building regulations, and then you have to get HMO licenses, then you have to, adhere to all the other bits that happen on a yearly basis, gas safety certificates, electrical certificates now. As well as that, it's becoming tougher to become a landlord. So you don't have to deal with the HMO regulations, no HMO officers, no planning, no building regs, no finance, no late rent payments, no Section 8s or Section 21s. You can't actually offer them right now because of COVID. And then no attending court, plus no Section 24, because you're not actually acquiring the property and you don't own the property. You're not dealing with Section 24. You're literally facilitating the sale. You're a glorified estate agent. And I hate to package it up as that, but it's the simplest way of describing it. And the best thing of all is that you can start and stop this at any time because it is a lifestyle business. You can do this from anywhere in the world. And giving you an example, so when we were allowed to travel, I'm going back to February of last year. I actually was in Oman. I went to Oman because I like doing, I like challenges. So I put myself through a half Ironman, which is 70.3, where you do a swim, a bike ride, and a run. And whilst I was in Oman, I was deal trading from there. I set up my phone so that I could literally make calls. I set out emails, and I was dealing and selling properties from Oman, which is in Muscat, which is over towards Saudi Arabia. So you can do this pretty much with any product in the world. I'm not saying that it only has to be property. Deal sourcing or deal trading or product trading can be done with anything, and you can start and stop this at any time. And I'm going to give you an example of other businesses that have been able to do this successfully. If you think of eBay, do they actually own any of the items on their platform? No, they don't. They are simply facilitating the sale of that product. So you've got the owner who has approached eBay and said, eBay, I want to sell my property. Or say, let's say I want to sell my pair of shoes. eBay puts it on. Now, as a result of that, eBay now puts this in front of the eyes of all the people that are interested in those shoes. Now, let's relate this back to property. Someone's got a property, they want to put it on eBay. eBay now shows this to all the people that are shown an interesting property on their platform. And as a result of that, eBay simply makes commission from in this scenario, they make their money from the seller, not the buyer. From a deal trading point of view, I generally make my money from the buyer, not the seller. Now, let's have a look at some other businesses around the world. And this is the way of the world, and this is where that we're going. And that's why I say that deal trading is probably the best strategy to get involved in when in property. So Bitcoin, one of the highest valued currencies, has no banks. Uber, the largest taxi company, owns no cars. Facebook, the most popular media owner, creates no content. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. Airbnb, the largest accommodation provider, has no real estate. Take a moment just to take this into consideration. So Peter says, I guess this is a cash and not cash flow strategy, like little like flipping. So Peter, it is a cash flow strategy. It depends on how you determine that, because a cash flow strategy is something that generates cash for you on a month by month basis. So yes, it does. So remember, you're not buying the property, you're simply facilitating the sale of it, and you're making a commission of it. And we'll go into the kind of commissions that you can make. So Nelson Rockefeller, part of the Rockefeller family, says the secret to success is to own nothing but to control everything. And if you look at the businesses that we just mentioned there, they don't own anything. They are simply facilitating and controlling everything around them. And I've said that this is the ultimate freedom strategy, and this is the ultimate no excuses strategy. And we'll come on to that now. So what's your role as a deal trader? Your role is to find landlords and homeowners that are struggling to sell their house and to offer them a unique solution. So you then sell the deal onto a property investor for a fee, and you make property cash flow without buying the property. Does everyone kind of understand the concept so far? Just give me a quick yes or no, please, because I want to now start to I'll give you the basics of what a deal trader does. I now want to start to get into the intricacies and, more importantly, the detail. So why is being a property sourcer such an important skill? So let's look at it from a point of view. How else would a property investor in London get to know about a great deal that you have in Manchester? Now, notoriously, what they would have had to have done is spent hours, if not days or months, going through all the property platforms like Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, Spareroom, Gumtree, OpenRent, just to name a few. These are some of the platforms that people use. As a result of that, they've then got to go through each property, they've then got to do all the calculations, do all the research, and then they find yes or no. And that is quite long and a tiresome approach. Whereas as a deal sourcer, you would have already done all that research and then put it in front of the guys and said, guys, here's the opportunity. What do you think? Do you like it? Yes or no? Because More importantly, again, going back to my example, the property investor in London, how would he know about a deal in Manchester? Previously, I can use other examples, like how would the guys in London know about the properties in Scotland? They won't have travelled up there to have done the research. Properties in Hull, properties in Scunthorpe, you name it. I've sold properties to people all over the world. I've got guys that are buying property who are based in Australia, and they're buying properties in Hull right now. Got a lady in China that's buying a property in Doncaster. How else would agents have been able to sell their hard to sell properties? Now, remember I talked about estate agents a short while ago. Now, predominantly, estate agents like selling properties to homeowners, people that want to move into the property. Now, if a property has got, let's just say, a crack running out of the back, or it's got no kitchen, it's got no bathroom, and it becomes unmortgageable, it's not going to appeal to homeowners who are simply after somewhere to live. Therefore, they have to then reach out to the investor market. And investors take calculated risks. They've got the ability and the funds to purchase with cash and move quickly, whereas someone like a first-time homeowner may not have the ability to do that. So an investor is quite an important part to an estate agent to sell the properties that they may not be able to sell to their homeowner clientele that they would like to. And then how would distressed sellers be able to solve their problems without problem solvers like us? Because I think that as a deal sourcer, as a property sourcer, we are problem solvers. We come up with solutions that estate agents would never have come up with. So let's have a look at the 3 principles of deal trading. So first, you've got the vendor or the estate agent. Oh, sorry. So we've got the vendor, we've got the estate agent. They're the people that need help selling their property. An agent may have tried for the last 3 to 6 months. Then you've got the sourcer. This is you. Let's refer to this sourcer as you. You are better at understanding investment properties and matchmaking to the right investor. So it's a matchmaking service. And then finally, we've got the investor. This is the person that purchases a property which meets their criteria and pays a fee for the service. They're paying you a fee. So just so you know, from my business point of view, I never charge the vendor a fee. I always charge the buyer, the investor, the fee. Why do I do that? Simply because if the vendor is looking at 2 options, either putting it on with an estate agent or giving it to me to sell to my investors, I need to be able to make this attractive so that the vendor says, you know what, Arsh, okay, let's give you a run with it. Now, the way that I can do that is by incentivizing them, saying, guys, I'm not going to charge you any fees. If you go with the estate agent like Connells or Retrains or one of the nationals, they're going to charge you a fee when they sell the property. And that could be 1 or 2% plus VAT. And if the property, let's say, is £100,000, that's going to cost them approximately £1,000 to £2,000 plus VAT, which is the best part of £2,500. Whereas what I'll say to them is, guys, save the £2,500, keep that £2,500, I'll make my money off the investor. So it's incentivizing the vendor to deal with me. It's not costing them anything to deal with me. And as a result, I make my money off the buyer. But in order to do that, I need to be able to put that property in a position where we look at all the best options for it and we go through that process. And as a result of that, we present it in a manner to the investor so that they look at it and say, I understand it, I know what we're doing with it, I want to buy it. So from a vendor's point of view, in order for us to understand what the best angle for it is, we need to understand from the vendor's point of view, where is the pain and the motivation. I'm going to ask you a question right now. Is from a vendor's point of view, what is their main motivation? So do you believe that price is the most important factor? Give me a quick yes or no, please. Is price the most important factor? Think about this as if you were selling a property yourself. You may be selling your home. What's the most important factor? Is it the fact that you need the most amount of money for it? Is it the fact that you potentially found your ideal perfect home that you need to move to, so you want to dispose of this one quickly? Is it that your kids are going to university, you're downscaling? Is it that someone's retiring? What is the motivation? Because lots of people get this wrong. And I'll talk about this in a second. First thing that you need to understand is the pain and the motivation of the vendor. And you, as the sourcer, you're the most instrumental part to this whole process. How can you add value to this property? And more importantly, the way that you add value will determine whether the investor will or will not buy the property. Why would they buy the property? And this could be that how you've structured the deal in such a manner to make sense to the investor. You've got to create it as almost like a business in a box opportunity. So how much does a typical deal sell for? Most people are shocked to hear that a typical small house will sell for circa £2,000 to £3,000. A lease option or rent to rent may vary from £2,000 to £10,000 depending on the cash flow that's in the deal, the term that's on the deal, and if it's a lease option, whether you've managed to structure it as a lease option, they're very valuable and you can charge more for those. The average property deal is around £5,000. The larger house or small HMO can vary between £5,000 to £8,000. A large HMO conversion could be up to £10,000 plus, and a plot of land could be up to £30,000 or sometimes even more, depending on whether it's got planning permission, etc. Okay, so Daniel, if you've got a question, feel free to ask it and I'll try and answer it as well. So lots of people have come in and they've said speed, price is not necessarily important, but speed of sale, guaranteed completion. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask them. If I don't answer them straight away, I will come back to them at the end of the presentation. So going back to the point, we're in a rising market. People always assumed that the property market was going to crash as a result of COVID-19. But in a rising market, people will say that in a rising market, it's impossible to find below market value deals. But believe it or not, it actually works in all markets. And the simple answer is you just adapt the pricing structure accordingly. Going back to the the slide that I gave you a second ago, the key to it is how you structure that deal. I'll give you an example. I've got a deal going through at the moment, and people say that, would you agree that you can't find below market value deals in London? Yes or no? Can you find below market value deals in London? Give me a quick yes or no. I've got a deal going through at the moment in London. And it's in Queen's Park, which is W9. I had to think what Queen's Park was then. So Queen's Park, W9. I've got a lead which was direct to vendor. I spoke to the vendor and he goes, Arsh, I want to sell my property. I said, okay. Valued roughly between 1 million to 1.1 million. Now, does anyone want to have a guess as to what we've managed to get that property down at? And this is, okay, so Sailor says, can you define BMV? So BMV is below market value. So we've got a BMV, a below market value opportunity in Queen's Park in London. And so we've literally gone to the vendor and we've structured the deal. So originally, he wanted the funds so that he could potentially go into a retirement home, or he wanted to stay in the property. So when we looked at it, we structured the deal, and I said to the vendor, well, if we could structure the deal where you stay in the property rent-free for a certain period of time after someone's bought it, would that work for you? And yes or no? And he came back and he goes, Arsh, I'd love to stay in this property. I don't think I can afford to stay in this property, but if we can structure a deal somehow, then I would love to stay in this property. So going back to my example as to finding the pain and the motivation, I understood what his pain is, I understood what his motivation was. Now I had to structure the deal accordingly. So I structured it and I said to him, well, okay, your house is worth around £1 million. I have to take into consideration that you want to stay in the property and you want it to be affordable. So how about we do it where you stay in the property, you don't pay any rent, but we're going to have to take a reduction in the price of the value of the property. He goes, okay. We then went through the process of understanding how much was outstanding on the mortgage, etc., whether there was a mortgage in place, and how that would work. But we then structured it so that the vendor, the purchase price was now £600,000, which means that we got approximately 40% below market value. Is that crazy or is that absolutely genius? I don't mind. You decide. So we structured the deal so it's £600,000 to the vendor, but the vendor has to stay in the property for a minimum of 5 years, rent-free. We calculated that the mortgage on that property there is going to be approximately £2,000 to £2,200 a month. So let's just say £2,000 a month, which is £24,000 a year. Let's just say £25,000 a year. Over a 5-year period, that's £125,000. If you add that onto the £600,000 that your purchase price is, that means that in theory, that property should owe you £725,000. Based on a valuation today of around £1 million, that's still less than 25% below market value. Plus, you're going to have the capital appreciation over the 5 years. So tell me, so Laura says genius. Paul says wow. So originally, people say that deals cannot happen in London. Now, the way that I've structured the deal is that we're actually charging a fee of £50,000 plus VAT on that property. Now, how can we charge such a large fee? It's because we've structured a deal that no one else can. And so, as a result, as a deal sourcer, I want to be paid something for my work. So Tim says, why would an owner sell £1 million house for less than what they could sell with an estate agent? Now, Tim, do you think an estate agent would be able to structure a deal in that manner? Or would they simply say, okay, Mr. Owner, your property's worth £1 million, I'm going to get you £1 million for it. Remember, the owner wants to stay in the property. The owner wants to remain in the property where he can live there for the next 5 years. Now, an estate agent won't have the clientele or understand the structure of that to put that in process. Remember, talking about pain and motivation. So let's get moving on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the market. There's 3 sections of the market. We've got the boom, we've got the bust, and we've got the trader. The boom is where we are right now. We're in a rising market. Sellers are in control and the prices continue to rise. We've got the bust where buyers are in control as properties struggle to sell. And then we've got the trader. All you have to do is understand the market that you're in right now and adjust your pricing according to the economic climate. And I cannot stress that enough. As a trader, as a deal sourcer, all you have to do is literally price it accordingly. If you think that the prices are coming down, you bring them down accordingly. If you think that they're going up, you work with your sellers to see how you can benefit them and also benefit the buyer. Now, the good thing, and I say a good thing, but I've called this the year of opportunity because remember, we've got 2 things to tackle. We've got Brexit, which has gone very quiet because of everything that's going on around COVID-19. What's going to happen to property prices? At the moment, they're going up. Are they going to come back down? No one knows. We've got the introduction of Section 24. If you don't know much about Section 24, I suggest that you do. Well, I'll suggest that you literally just do some research around Section 24 because this is going to cause lots of property investors who have got properties in their own name a lot of issues where they're going to become insolvent. There's a question that's come back. Clive, sorry, I was just reading your question. Is it not illegal to do purchase and rent back deals? Yes, it is, but there are certain ways that you can structure them where they are legal. So sorry, I will come back to that. Okay, so we've got interest rates. At the moment, they're at all-time low, pretty much in a negative point of view. They can't remain at this level forever, which means that the guys that got the interest rates at this level, they're enjoying the cash flow now. Once the interest rates start to increase, will they then become insolvent? We then look at the economy. How will the UK adjust after leaving with Brexit? How will we deal with Corona? Businesses will be desperate to start again. There's lots of people that talked about commercial properties as well, retail properties. How many retail units have now become vacant? How many businesses have we seen that have gone bust? What's going to happen with these commercial properties? You know, again, these are all opportunities that are coming out from the storm that we've suffered over the last 12 to 18 months. So going back to the point, there are no deals in my area. Now, the beautiful thing about deal sourcing is that you don't have to just concentrate on your area. You can source across the entire country. You can trade properties, deals you haven't seen personally. How is this even possible? Now, right, this is the interesting point. Remember, I talked about working with agents. This is what I do on a day-to-day basis. I speak to agents all over the country. So one day I could be talking to an agent in Doncaster, next day I could be talking to an agent in Scotland, the next day I could be talking to an agent down in Bournemouth or down towards Cornwall. And what we tend to do is we use the local knowledge on the ground to act as our eyes and ears. So an estate agent might come across the property and they say, oh, okay, I've got this property, I haven't been able to sell it yet, and it's because it's got this issue, or this issue. Or it could be that it's a HMO and they haven't got an investor database. They go, Arsh, can we do something where we sell it to your database? And we work with agents all over the country. I said, fine. So just to give you an example, I'm just trying to find, if you're not already on the Property Investor app, I'm just quickly doing this now. I had a property in, believe it or not, in my neck of the woods, Wolverhampton. An agent came to me and says, oh, she goes, I've got this 6-bed HMO in Wolverhampton. He goes, we don't normally sell HMOs. That's not really our core business. And I said, great, okay, because my investor database will. He goes, what do we need to do to get it onto your platform? I'll go, I need the photos, I need the floor plans, I need a video walkthrough, which are all the things that they would have done if they had to put the property on Rightmove, Zoopla, or on the market anyway. And they sent me all that information, and this is all current information, and we put it on the app, and we sell it, and we appraise the deal, and we sold it within the space of 1 working day. I then went back to the estate agent. I go, Mr. Estate Agent, I've got a buyer for your property. They want to come and view it. Now, the way that the process works is that I get the investor to pay my fee up front, which is held in a client account. They then go and view the property, which is with the estate agent. The estate agent then shows them round. The estate agent then gets the offer through them, and then they deal with the investor going forward. So I've kind of stepped out of the deal, allowing me to go off and do multiple other deals all over the country. So I don't handhold through the whole process because the estate agent does that. And the reason why I like the estate agent to do that is because the estate agent wants to remain in control of the whole process. The moment that I try and mess with their process is the moment that they don't like to work with me. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand now how we can do this? Okay. Right, okay, so Tim says, Arsh, I'm struggling to understand why someone would sell something for 20 to 40% below market value, would be happy to take such a loss. Having done some property deals before, people aren't silly when it comes to money for their property. Thoughts? Okay, Tim, I'll answer that. And the reason being is that, remember, going back to my point about pain and motivation, when you're literally speaking to the vendor, you've got to understand what that pain and motivation is, and you've got to structure a deal. I'll give you another example, Tim, just to let you know that it's not a fluke. Here's a property. Guy owns a property in Stockton-on-Tees. Property was actually on, believe it or not, Gumtree, so I don't mind telling you where that came from. I approached him, I said, okay, tell us about the property. So he had a commercial offices on the ground floor, and then he had a 5-bed HMO above in Stockton-on-Tees. And he said, I want a straight outright purchase. He goes, the reason why I want an outright purchase is because I'm only based in the country 3 months of the year. I'm based in Saudi Arabia for the other 9 months. I work for an oil company. I said, fine. I said, what's the reason for you selling? He goes, just because I'm not in the country. I don't like dealing with estate agents. I don't like dealing with letting agents. And I went to him, I said, okay. I said, is money the purpose here? He goes, no. He goes, I'd like to sell it, but if there's another opportunity, then I'm always open to it. And I said, okay, I said, I understand that you want to sell it, but how about if I give you a residual income for the next 5 years from that property? He goes, what do you mean? And then we went through the process of what a lease option was. And I structured it in a manner where over a 5-year period, he gets his market value, which is considered today, but he gets payments over the next 5 years, and then the investor then buys that property below market value within that 5-year period. So, Tim, it's not about money. And the one thing I say respectfully is remove the money element out of your mindset, because that will be a massive stumbling block for you. Money is the last thing that we speak about when we do deals. We understand the pain and the motivation first. So this is a really important part for you, Tim. So what is the deal? Ideally, a deal is buying something for less than what it's worth, which leads to two questions. How do you measure the market value of a house? And this is where we use agents and local knowledge in that area. And why would someone sell me their house cheap? So what is the deal? Is it buying something below market value? Is it buying a property in need of renovation? Is it something that's already income producing? Is it something producing a good ROI? Is it something ROI is return on investment? Is it something with good potential of capital growth? Is it something that is sustainable? Is it something that's a cash flow opportunity? Is it something that has capital appreciation opportunity? Is it something where you have the opportunity to add value? Could you add value via refurbishment, add value by planning gain? Is there opportunity to take control with little capital? Is there an opportunity to use something else, someone else's asset in exchange of time? So out of those, which of those is a deal? Is there one that sticks out for you? I'm going to give you my answer straight away. Every single one of those is what I would consider is a deal. Remember, the price is not always the motivating factor. Get to the root of the problem, find a solution, and there you have your deal. And I say this respectfully, especially to you, Tim, because you've raised the question. Money is not the motivator. I'll give you examples as to why when I've been selling cars, my wife wanted to exchange her car. I already bought her new car. Now we're having to sell her car, her former car. We didn't do it in part exchange. I thought we'd get a little bit more for it by selling it privately. I became a motivated seller. The same when I was selling my family home, when I'd already bought my new family home, I now had 2 family homes. I became a motivated seller. I actually, the car, I actually took a bit of a hit on to get rid of it. It wasn't because I needed the money. It's because I didn't want 2 cars. So again, get to the root of the problem and you'll find your solution. Why do you think companies like, what's the car company called? WeBuyAnyCar.com do so well? You've got to think about this in a real logical way. Going back to this slides earlier on, look at all the businesses around the world that have strived, have done so well over the last few years. Uber, they don't own property. They simply control. They don't own taxis. They simply control. Estate agents, they don't own properties. They're facilitating the sale. So when you source lots of different deal types, you'll never be short of opportunities. Now, the people that I find that struggle are the ones that are trying to find deals that what I would consider one-trick ponies that only look for below market value deals. You won't suffer through the same frustration because I'll be showing you different types of deals to look through. Now, remember, we're talking about 2 different ways here. Finding owners. Everyone knows how to find owners, would you agree? Finding owners is the easy part. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sniffle this morning. Too many Easter eggs, I think. So finding owners is the easy part. I'll give you some tips here. First thing that you could do, you could find every property that's for sale. And this is very generic, by the way. Everyone should know how to do this. You can find every property that's for sale or for rent, get the full property address by Googling it or researching it, then go to land registry, paying £3 per title, finding the owner's details, send them a letter. The other way that you could do, have you seen in the picture these lovely people in front of us, are all tradespeople. Tradespeople work for vendors, tradespeople work for estate agents, tradespeople work for landlords. I try and find tradespeople that work for landlords, and I incentivize these guys. I say, for every vendor that you bring me, I'll give you £500. And these guys are almost like my on-the-road workforce for me. I even give them letters so that every time that they go to a property and they see a property that's for sale, tell them to stick the letter through the door. These are the letters. Again, direct mail still works really well. And I'm going to give you pros and cons here. Now, how many times have you received a letter through the letterbox, and how many times have you responded to it over the last year? Be honest here. Be absolutely honest. How many letters have you responded to? I've not responded to any letters. So you've got to ask the question, is that when that letter goes through that letterbox, what's your success rate like? More importantly, when do you know if they're going to respond to you or not? So you send a letter. On that piece of paper, let me just quickly, hang on, let me see if I've got something here. Got my wife's, there we go. Piece of paper there, A4 piece of paper. You're going to write on there all the best things that you can offer that vendor. Off the back of that, how is the vendor going to interpret that information? Is it going to go down well, or is it going to think that it's too cold? Are they going to like your message? Are they not going to like your message? The honest answer is you don't know. So my question is, when are they going to respond to your letter? Is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be next month? Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be a few years down the line? You've got no way of even judging that. So when you're sending a letter, you're sending a letter blind. I'm not a big fan of direct mail. I haven't direct mailed for over 12, over almost, where are we, 2021? Well in excess of 10 years. Again, you've got leaflets. Again, it's the same thing. You have to put a lot out to get some responses back. You have to put out in excess of 100,000 leaflets to get some kind of responses. We've all seen these kind of leaflets. You know, the sell your property quick, debt, divorce, repossession. Again, this lady here, which is Susie, she's put down all the different methods as to, you know, again, I'll give you, if you've not listened to my podcast, 2 weeks ago, I released a podcast showing you all the strategic methods as to finding different properties in a more strategic manner. One of them was about working with, believe it or not, funeral directors. So who do funeral directors deal with? They deal with people who have passed away and their families. Now, when people pass away, unfortunately, they do leave some assets behind, whether it be houses, whether it be, you know, other things like furniture, etc., etc. And generally speaking, people don't know what to do with these assets. So we've advertised in a lot of the magazines and a lot of the folders that they hand out now to these people, saying, guys, okay, we understand, you know, sorry for your loss, Would you, if you want to discuss anything around property, we're more than happy to help. How many people have ever come across that strategy? Not many. I've been doing this for years, and it still provides me with a healthy number of leads. Now, this is my office, believe it or not, High Street location, Wolverhampton. We've still got it, and this generates us a load of leads. So my company, WeBuyPropertiesFast.co.uk, just for the record, I've actually pulled the website down just for the day, because people will generally go on and try and copy all the data off there. So that's generally what I do on webinars. So simple three-step deal trading system is source, package, sell, SPS. Now, one thing I will also throw in there is that the three pillars of what I consider deal trading is buy, sell, rent. When you go to a vendor, you want to give them all the options available to them. Can I buy the property from you? Can I be the buyer? Can I sell the property for you? Can I rent the property from you? Buy, sell, rent. Buy, sell, rent. SPS, source, package, sell. Does that kind of make sense? So I'm trying to keep it extremely simple for you guys. Believe it or not, there are 21 different sourcing techniques that I use on a regular basis. Now, that's a lot. We don't have time to go through all of them today, and that, believe it or not, would only confuse you. Now, going back to my point earlier, about the guys that only look for below market value deals. I would consider them to be one-trick ponies. The reason why I say one-trick ponies is because, going back to my point about pain and motivation, no two vendors are the same. No two strategies are the same. No two properties are the same. So therefore, if you've only got one strategy and you're trying to apply that as a blanket to all, you will never, well, you'll get some deals, but you'll be leaving lots of deals on the table. And I don't like it where you leave money on the table. Always, you should always be looking to monetize every lead. And that's one of the benefits of a deal sourcer and a deal packager. So the deal types are below market value deals, full market value deals. Now, go back to Tim's question earlier. Why would someone sell me their property below market value? Believe it or not, Tim, if the figures stack up and we can look at the angle from if the vendor genuinely needs the full market value for that property to sell, we can offer the full market value, providing that we've got an option or an angle in there where we can enhance value in another way. We can look at rent-to-rent deals. We can look at lease option deals. We can look at assisted sale. We can look at exchange and delay completion. We look at the planning gains. These are just some of the deal types. So can you see, every time I go to a vendor, I've got an option or I've got a solution for them. You might be thinking that it's impossible to find deals through estate agents, but believe it or not, estate agents need your help more so now than ever to sell their tired properties. So, success with estate agents. There's 3 steps system to sourcing success with estate agents. The first one is tell every estate agent what you're looking for. Now, I'm going to just give you a little tip here. Please, please, please do not go into an estate agent and say, hi, my name's Esther, I'm a property investor. That rhymes, it's not a crime. Sorry, I had to say that. So, hi, my name's Esther, I'm a property investor. I'm looking for properties that are 25% below market value. I'm a cash buyer. I can complete within 7 days. They will, unfortunately, take your business card. They may humour you and say, thank you very much for coming in, Esther. Let me see what I can do and I'll call you. The moment you leave, your business card goes in the bin. I know that for a fact. Believe it or not, as the owner of the Property Investor app, I've seen the other side of what estate agents see now. The amount of people that approach us say, Arsh, can you send us your deals before we put them on the app? We can do this, we can do that, we can do the other. And I will say to you, and I'm saying this to you now with authority, do not come and propose that you're the buyer if you're not the buyer. So if Esther, if you're a deal sourcer, you've got to tell the estate agent that you're not the buyer, because in essence, by doing that, you're lying to the estate agent from day one. And then all of a sudden, when you're looking to come to view the property, if it's not Esther that's viewing the property and Kevin turns up, they're going to say, well, who's Esther and who's Kevin? And then all of a sudden, they don't know what's going on. They feel like they're out of control. As a result of that, that's when you lose the deal. And then you buy and you trade the deals you say you will. So if you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Now, going back to my example with the estate agent in Wolverhampton, I said to him, guys, okay, I'll put it on the app. I'll see if I can get you a buyer within 7 days. I found them a buyer within 1 day. Now, what do you reckon that estate agent's thinking right now? Thinking, God, okay, this works. I've not had to do any work, yet I'm still making the full value of the property. And the vendor thinks I'm the best. Well, the vendor thinks the estate agent is the best thing since sliced bread. The vendor doesn't know anything about me. They don't know anything about the Property Investor app. I don't care that they don't know anything about me. I'm just happy that the estate agent's feeding me deals. I'm then feeding them out to my Property Investor database. They're paying me. The estate agent is making their fee from the seller. I'm making my fee from the buyer. Everyone wins. Has the penny dropped right now? Why would estate agents work with you? They make their money from the seller. I make my money from the buyer. Why would the estate agent not want to work with me if they've got all these deals and I can sell them without them having to do all the work? Make sense? Has the penny dropped? Yes or no? Laura says, Win-win. Okay, so your job as a deal trader is to solve the property problems. Most people struggle or fail to trade deals because they're only looking for discount properties. I've said this a number of times in this presentation. When you meet a homeowner, you need to solve their property problem, not buy their house at a discount if possible. So 10 steps that we need to sell your deal. We need to understand the location. We need to understand the pictures and the condition of the property. We need the market value and comparables for proof. Purchase price, discount if there is any, sourcing fee, what you're looking to charge, the vision for the property, cash flow forecast, how much is the property going to generate now, how much is it going to potentially generate in the future. Let's give you an example of this. If it's running as a single let now, but has potential to run as a multi-let, HMO, how much is it producing now, how much can it produce as a multi-let, and what are the differences between the two? What's the total required to purchase, and what's your one call to action? Make sense? Okay, so Paul says, if I utilize a fee, do I pay the fee, app a fee if the deal is sold? So Paul, the app works on a 50-50 split fee basis. So Alex says, what is the one call to action? So basically, if you're selling your deal to your investor, your one call to action should be, there should be a button where they should be able to contact you, either email you or phone you, so that literally they can call you and say, Alex, I like this deal. What do I need to do? What's the next step? You can shortcut all that and you can get started faster. You can reduce a 3-step process to 1 so that you have less to learn and focus on, and you can profit faster when you JV with me. When we say JV, literally, we're talking about you sending us the deal and we sell it on the app as a deal. And as a result of that, we work on a 50-50 split fee basis. So how it works when you JV with me, you find the deal, I'll sell it for you by listing it on the Property Investor app. If you source deals through estate agents, then believe it or not, it's actually free for you to get started, and you don't need to negotiate with the owner, and you only deal with the agent. By JVing with me, I'll walk you through exactly how I put together a persuasive email broadcast to immediately sell your deal, so that you can confidently do this in the future. And I'll sell your deal to my database in less than a day. This really is the fastest and easiest way to make property cash flow. Now, I'm going to just give you a couple of examples. There's a lady on screen now, a lady called Sarah Parks. So she's based in Scotland, and she said it's easy to think that it's impossible to find BMV deals in Scotland because of the closed bidding system for buying a house. That's definitely what held me back from taking action the first few months. Once I decided to give it a go, I was amazed at what was possible. I made £6,000 from her first deal. Now, this guy on the right, he actually lives abroad. He lives in Marbella. He goes, Arsh showed me how to use a variety of online tools to build a property business that I can run from Marbella or anywhere in the world. All my deals have been sourced at auction, and have been sold to Arsh's investor database. He goes that this is the ultimate property freedom strategy, as it can be done from anywhere in the world and can be stopped at any time. If you really want to build a deal trader business, all you need to do is follow Arsh's system and you will succeed. And that's a guy called Russell Boakes, and he's actually based in Marbella, originally from Newcastle. What a completely different worlds. Lady now, a lady called Sandeep Baines, based in Derby. She goes, when I started working with Arsh, I had no previous property experience. Arsh explained the different strategies to me, and I decided on deal trading because I could get started without any money. I traded 3 deals in 2 months and made £22,000 in sourcing fees. This is amazing. Now, Sandy actually came to spend the day with me, and we found a deal on the day from an auction company. Auction company, believe it or not, one of the strategies that we haven't spoken about. We've talked about direct to vendor, we've talked about estate agents, we haven't talked about auctions. Auction companies, believe it or not, let's face it, they get the same kind of stock that we want. They've got motivated sellers. People put their properties into auction when they're motivated. And as a result of that, we work with auction companies up and down the country. And she found one deal, and off the back of that, that's a £5,000 deal on itself. And I always say, don't judge me on my success, because judge me on the success of the people around me. Judge me by the success of the students. Judge me on my ability to help you transform the quality of your life with property cash flow. So I just want to spend a couple of minutes telling you about a deal trading bootcamp or a deal trading masterclass that I'm running. It's a 2-day online course that removes all the problems that we've spoken about and showing you how I can give you the skills and the confidence to start making property cash flow the very next day. So here's what you'll learn on the workshop. It's a virtual workshop, so it's a Zoom call workshop. It's on the 24th, I believe, 24th and 25th of April. So it's a Saturday and Sunday, 24th and 25th. We'll be looking at 21 different ways to source deals, 5 types of deals that you can trade. We'll be looking at a deal analysis for discount, cash flow, development, and or all 3. We'll be looking at the negotiation secrets to effortlessly create a win-win. We'll be looking at 10 ways to build an audience to sell your deal. So you don't have to sell your deals to my database. You can sell them to your own database, and I'll be showing you ways how to build your own database and the 10-step persuasion process to instantly sell your deals. Plus, I'll give you all the contracts, the deal analyzed, scripts to get started the very next day, and a recording of the entire event so that you can watch it back as and when you want possible. I've broken it down into 8 sections so that we look at it over 2 days. Overview, economics, analysis, types of deals, sourcing strategies, negotiation secrets, list building, and selling. As well as that, we will also be on the day calling vendors and agents live so that you can see how easy this is to get started. So from the comfort of your own home, because it will be live streamed, it will be a Zoom call over the 2 days of Saturday the 24th and Sunday the 25th. We'll be live streaming where you get to see me find deals right in front of you, appraise the deals right in front of you, speak to the vendors and the agents right in front of you, and then package them and we sell them to our investor database. Now, if you find a deal on the day as well, we'll also package this up and we'll sell it out to my investor database, or if you want to build your own database, you're more than welcome to do so. So some of the resources that I'll be giving you on the day is a below market value deal analysis spreadsheet. I'll be giving you the rent to rent deal analysis spreadsheet, looking at how to create the deal lease option deal analysis spreadsheet, HMO deal analysis spreadsheet. We'll be giving you documents so that you can lock the property out, a lockout agreement. We'll be giving you the property introduction agreement. The property introduction agreement is the one that I've used for the property in Queen's Park in London, so I'll be showing you how I've structured that. I'll be giving you the proven leaflet templates, the proven posters that we've used. We'll give you the letter sequence for sale buyers. So if you still want to send out letters and leaflets, we'll give you my examples that I've used. I'll be showing you a proven newspaper leads generation advert, which I still use. Not many people read newspapers as much nowadays, but I'll also show you that. And I'll also give you the ultimate vendor questions. And finally, I'll give you the 3 blueprints that I've created, which I consult every day, which is, it's almost like a mind map. So here's what you do, yes or no. If it's yes, we go here, you hit no there, and it takes you through the whole process. So how to deal with the agents and vendors, how to deal with rent to rent, and how to deal with other sources. So what will this workshop do for you? And we're coming to the end of this now, guys, and we're going to have a massive Q&A. If you've got any questions, start to ask all the questions, please, and I'll go through these in a second. So what will this workshop do for you? First of all, it will give you, and you'll enjoy quick results. When every action you take is a positive step towards finding, agreeing, and selling a lucrative deal, this is unbelievably easy to do when you follow a proven system. So watch your income soar as you easily trade multiple deals a month. You won't suffer through the frustrations of the one-trick pony sources. So I don't want you to become that one-trick pony. I want you to look at every different deal type and monetize every lead. I want you to see the potential in every opportunity, going back to monetizing every lead. The secret is to assess each deal on the following things, such as, is there a discount to be had? Is there an income opportunity? Is there a way that we can add value by development opportunities there? And again, confidently negotiate a win-win for you and the vendor and the agent as you present a quick solution to their problem in a way that makes them want to sell their house. This guarantees that you never waste an opportunity. And then finally, as a result of coming on the workshop, you have the opportunity to work with me. So you can sell all your deals in the day when you build a list of investors on a shoestring budget and almost overnight. I'll also reveal a little trick that I've done many times over the years, which includes a classified newspaper advert, which has made my investor phone ring for weeks on end. And then finally, profit from baby steps when you JV with me. If you find the deal, I'll sell it. Simple as that. Just like that. You can have less to learn, less to focus on so that you can profit faster. Now, just so that you know, the workshop is on the 24th and 25th of April. The cost of it is $997. We normally sell it for a lot more than that. The reason why I'm doing it at a discount is A, because YPN have asked me to do it at a discount for their loyal readers, and I'm looking for success stories. I want more testimonials. So I want stories that will inspire other people with no previous property experience to transform their life with property cash flow. So if you're willing to share your property success in a written or video testimonial, then you can save yourself over £1,000. So you can attend the Deal Trading Bootcamp / Masterclass for $997. So let's move on to it. The session is designed literally to push you out your comfort zone. So I want people that are action takers. I want people that have got the ability to pick up the phone and take action and throw you completely out of the comfort zone. The session is designed to help you succeed faster, and the session will give you the deal flow to achieve your cash flow goals. So here's what I tend to do, guys. So we're kind of at the end of the presentation. At the bottom of the page, we've got a link. I think Michelle is going to post it. If you go to the chat section of the control panel, you've got a link there. It's bit.ly/deal masterclass. If you click on that, you can see it's on Saturday 24th and Sunday 25th. Price is $997. The one thing I will say is that if you've got a business partner and you want to bring them all, along with you, you can do so absolutely free. They have to be your business partner or your marital partner or your life partner. So you can bring them for absolutely free. So in essence, you've got 2 for 1 there. It is a live stream event, which means that you live stream it from the comfort of your own home. The times are 9 AM to 5 PM on both days. And one thing that I tend to do, all my workshops, is that I give 100% money back guarantee. So if you buy the course today, you risk nothing because you're covered by my 100% money back guarantee. What that basically means is that if you attend the first day of the course and if you're not completely satisfied, then all you have to do is send me a message at the end of day 1 and I'll give you a full refund. And it really is as simple as that. But out of the years that I've been doing this, I believe there's only ever been 2 people that have ever come back to me on that, and that's fine. I'm not going to be 100% and say that we've never given anyone a refund. It does happen, it's happened twice, but as a result of that, I firmly believe that you're working with an industry leader. So again, to book yourself on, click on the link below or click on the link which is in the chat box, which is at the bottom of the control panel. It's on Saturday 24th, Sunday the 25th of April 2021. And again, it is a online workshop. So lots of people ask me the question, can I pay with my first deal? Can I come on your workshop for free and can I pay for it after? I'd love to say yes, but unfortunately, I have to say that. Have you ever been given a book that you haven't read? How many times have you been given a free book and how many times have you actually picked up that book and read it? Chances are, if it's free, that you won't have read it. If you paid for it, you would have taken action from it. Are you really going to make a commitment to something if you're given this for free? Knowledge is only 50% of the success equation. The other 50% is taking action. It's getting you out of your comfort zone. It's not giving up. I can only take you 50% away. I can take you to the water. You're the one that has to drink it. So people will say to me, Arsh, it won't work in my area. You can source property across the whole country, the entire country, from the comfort of your sofa. You don't have to go and visit it. I haven't visited a property for many years. What makes you think that you can't source property just because it's a couple of hours drive away? I've got people that are on other sides of the country, other sides of the world, sourcing property in the UK. You're no different. If anything, you've got the benefit of being in the UK and being able to do it. Remember, when you source deals through estate agents and auctions, you don't need to view the property yourself because they do it all for you. When you source all different types of deals, you'll see daily opportunities in every town or city. And I'll be showing you how to get the alert so that every time a property comes up, you'll be able to see it. I can give you loads of different examples. So we've got Nick Swells here. He goes, that deal trading is perfect strategy for me. I'm able to keep the deals for myself and monetize those out of my area. We've just done a deal with Nick in Hull. And remember, you don't need to travel because you can live stream the whole event. So I'm going to leave that there, guys. So I'm now going to go on to the questions. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Wow, okay, we've got lots of questions. Okay, so Clive, welcome. Thanks for staying till the end, Clive. I'm an investor. I want to buy leads rather than source and sell leads. I'm more interested in your 21 ways to source leads, and also ask whether you sell lead deals directly to investors or offer a sourcing arrangement for investors like me. Okay, so let me just read that back. So I'm an investor, want to buy leads rather than source and sell leads. Okay, so you're an investor and you want to buy deals. Okay, I'm interested in your 21 ways to source deals and also ask whether you can sell. Okay, so Clive, I've read the question twice. So you're a property investor. You don't have to be a deal sourcer to come on the deal sourcing workshop. Remember what I said. Part of the deal sourcing process is that you get to see the best deals first. So if you're looking to buy, you're in the best position to see the deals first. And remember, you're not paying sourcing fees. If you've understood and you now know the secrets, you can literally buy all these deals and you'll be saying, well, hang on, I've never seen these before. You'll get people contacting you and say, Clive, I've got this deal, I've got this deal, I've got this deal, and believe it or not, you'll have more deals that you can work with, and the natural progression for you will be that you'll become selling some of the deals. That's from my experience. Okay, so Ash says, what help can you provide us after a 2-day course? Ash, I will actually, one thing I forgot to put on there, I will actually open up a WhatsApp group for you guys as well. So if there is any questions after the 2-day workshop, you'll be in a WhatsApp group that you can ask me, and then as well as that, if you want, we can have a follow-up Zoom call. Happy to do that. Got no issue with that. Okay, so Hema says, can you please explain how you structured the London deal and sell and rent back is, and sell as sell and rent back is illegal? Okay, so Hema, there are lots of legal ways that it can be done. There are contracts in place with the vendor to ensure that, because they're not paying any sell and rent back, they're not actually renting the property back, they're living there for free. There's a slight difference there. So the London property is all legal above board. It's all been run through solicitors. So, okay, so Sean says, I'm a property investor, I want to buy deals too. Is this course for me? I'm not good at negotiating. Okay, Sean, just so you know, it's not just for deal sources. This is for those that want to find their deals for themselves too. So just imagine now, Sean, you're looking for deals. Sean, just so if you're looking for deals, just imagine finding the deals now without having to pay sources fee. You'll have all the deals. Now you'll know how to appraise them correctly, and you'll be looking at the deals in a completely different manner. So yes, the workshop is for you. You'll get to a point, which I said previously, where you'll probably been offered too many deals, and instead of just passing them up, why don't you package them, monetize them, and turn that into a business? So work on the basis that you're going to buy them for yourself initially, but then when you've probably got too much on, look to monetize those. Okay, Ash says, generally, I've been on a course and nobody responds to the phone calls after. Okay, so Ash, if you've obviously never been on one of my courses, because at the end of this presentation, I'll actually give you my mobile number. And I'm always open to having a conversation. As a result of that, happy to have a chat as well. But come on the workshop, understand the skill. Off the back of that, you'll come into a WhatsApp group. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. You'll have my office phone number, you'll have my mobile number, and generally speaking, we'll have a Zoom call after the event to answer any of those questions as well. Okay, so Mitch says, we have a 6-bed HMO plus VAT for sale, outskirts of London. What's the best way to connect with you on this deal? Okay, so Mitch, best thing that I can do very quickly is, sorry, let me just quickly, let me just quickly go through, sorry. I've got the links there. So there's my email address. So go back to Ash's. So you've got my mobile number there. If you want, just drop me a quick email with the property details, or alternatively, Mitch, you can download the Property Investor app and you can upload the deal directly onto the app yourself there. So Sailor says, do you need a license to be a deal packager? If you're going to become an independent packager and you're going to sell the deals to your database, you will have to go through some compliance, and these compliance are the things that we will go through on the workshop. So compliance, you'll need anti-money laundering, you'll need professional indemnity insurance, you'll need to be registered with the ICO, the Information Commissions Officer, and you'll also need to be registered with the PRF, the Property Redress Scheme. So yes, it costs on average around £800 a year. That's but alternatively, if you're selling the deals to my database, we will work off my compliance. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so how can I work together with you together, please? So Alex, the first thing that you probably need to do, my friend, if I'm honest, is you do need to come on the workshop. And as a result of working with me, we'll show you how to find all the different ways to find the deals. Off the back of finding all the different ways, you'll then be in direct contact with me to say how we can monetize these leads. Okay, so Peter said, I want to grow my portfolio. I'm not a cash buyer and want to invest in suburban London, my own area. Would I really get access to the best deals firsthand, as I know that is my main goal now? I want to buy, aim to buy and add value and let. Absolutely. So Peter, I know you're probably pronounced Pietra, but Peter, just so that you know, I'll be showing you how to put yourself in front of vendors and opportunities, and then it's about you appraising the opportunities and presenting your opportunity to them. Does that make sense? So yes, if you really want to grow your portfolio, if you really want to get access to the best deals, this is the training for you. So, okay. Okay, so Miss V says, hi, thanks for the training. I can't do the dates mentioned, but I've previously attended deal packaging workshops. Would love to spend the day with you. How much is it on a one-to-one training for you? Normally, just so that you know, Miss V, it is £1,500 for the day. However, I'll tell you what, if you book onto the same link, I'll let you come and do the whole day with me, a day in the office for £997, which is £7,500. And you get a one-on-one service if that helps you, and that's for one day in my office. So Catherine, okay, so I'll listen this evening as well. Okay, brilliant. Laura, can we JV with you to sell our deals without doing the boot camp? So if you've got a deal, Laura, and you want to send it across, you're more than happy to send it across to me, and I'll have a look at it and we'll go from there. So Daniel says, the other question, what does a person from outside the UK or EU to buy a property? What does a person from the outside of the UK or EU need to buy a property in England? So Daniel, there's lots of questions there. And if I'm honest, probably too many questions. Are you a cash buyer? Are you finance? If you're finance, there'll be questions around the affordability and money laundering regulation. So the first thing that I'd probably suggest that you speak to a competent finance broker to understand what they need from you before you can buy a deal. Okay, so Andrew says, how do I work with you with my deal sourcing? So first thing I'd probably suggest, Andrew, come on the deal sourcing masterclass. As a result of that, I'll show you all the different ways of sourcing these different deals and looking at all the different strategies. As a result of that, you'll then open yourself out to a lot more information and go from there. Okay, so Daniel, you said that you're a cash buyer. You mentioned a lady from China. So the lady from China is also a cash buyer. So to buy a property from us, very simply download the app and see what opportunities are out there. So someone's just said, can I have my mobile number and email address? There you have it on screen. Okay, so if you sell deals on your behalf, do we still need to be compliant? Laura, if you're selling, if the deals are being sold to my database, no, because I am compliant. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions. Is there any other questions there? So Michelle, is there any questions that you'd like to ask, or anything that you'd want to chip in right here?
Hey Arsh, you mentioned about working with either probate or the funeral directors. Kevin's asked, how would you buy a property when someone dies and there's no will or there's no property, the family, the property goes back to the estate?
Okay, interesting question. So, generally speaking, when you're working with funeral directors, chances are that there's a high, I would say, high 90-95% that the property is left to someone. When we talk about to someone, it will be friend, auntie, uncle, kids, etc. If it goes to the state then have a legal obligation to then go and sell that property via a method of auction. And the reason why they have to sell it via a method of auction is because they then have to prove to the state that they've got the best possible price for that property on the day. They can't sell it to individuals, unfortunately. So if it's gone to the state, the chances are that you'll struggle to deal with it. Any other questions?
Yeah, Steve has asked, if you're working with agents, how do they get paid, and how do you structure that payment?
Okay, so when you're working with agents, bear in mind that a normal estate agent, when they sell a property, they make their money off the seller. Now, that will still remain the same. You make your money off the buyer. So you're not looking to make any commission off the estate agent. If you're trying to make some commission off the estate agent genuinely won't work with you. So the way that I structure it in the method that the agent makes some money from the seller, I make my money from the buyer.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Arsh, do you want to go back to the slide where we show the average fees that people can charge for the training, for the deals? Because they do vary depending on the type of the quality, how much below market value it might be, or maybe there's an opportunity to add some value through planning gain or all sorts of things. So I just want to kind of remind people that, once you've done this training and you are involved in finding the deals and you can pass them on to Arsh and his team, that there's plenty of money to be made here. So it's, if this is something you want to get into and you want to learn how to do it properly, let's just have a look at them. So, small house, 2 to 3k, right up to a plot of land up to 30,000 or sometimes more. And Arsh, what would you say to people who, I remember the first time that I was presented with these figures and someone was telling me that this is what I could charge if I sold some deals on, and it was, for people who've only been in that kind of corporate or employee job before, where £2,000 might be a month's income. How do people kind of get their head around that it's possible?
Okay, I mean, to be fair, the way that you've got to look at these fees, and it's a big part of the fee structure is also understanding what you're bringing to the table. If you're just finding something literally off Rightmove and you're not negotiating any discounts or you're not adding any value to it, yes, you will struggle to get the fees on those. But generally speaking, the way that I'll structure the deal with you, you'll always be able to add some kind of value into it. So if you can do a rent to rent, or if you can do a lease option, the average fee that we're charging at the moment is between 6,000 to 8,000. On a typical small house, the general fee is around 2,000 to 3,000. On a HMO, my average fee is between 5,000 to 6,000. I didn't mention any figures, just so that you know. My average number of deals that we sell a year is around 10 a week. So we do around 500 deals a year. And the average fee for the last, I'm not going to count the year 2000 to 2021 because obviously COVID, etc. But from 2019 to 2020, we did the best part of 500 odd deals. So again, have a look at this from a scalable business model. This is very scalable. All it needs is your time and your ability to pick up the phone and have conversations with people. I'm not asking you to send out 10,000 letters. I'm not asking you to send out 100,000 leaflets. For me, that's far too much hard work. I'd rather you literally have a conversation like we're having now and understanding, first thing that I want you to do, understand the concept. And as a result of understanding the concept, becoming familiar and comfortable with what you're offering when you speak to an agent. People like doing business with people they like. So, and if they understand I'm just going to give you an example. Peter's come to me and says, will this course give me sufficient knowledge for finding the best deals, or is there a pathway for other advanced master classes which will reveal information? Peter, just so that you know, I don't do upsells, so I'll never upsell you onto another course. And the honest answer is there isn't another course. I'm only doing this in conjunction with YPN. If you do any research on me, I don't genuinely run courses. I only run courses because the guys at YPN, who have been very loyal to me for the last 6 years and have allowed me to write in their magazine for the last 6 years, have come to me and said, Arsh, we get lots of our subscribers wanting to know about deal sourcing. Will you share your secrets? You won't find that I've run courses for the last 2 to 3 years. So this is very much a one-off opportunity for the guys on the YPN. So, sorry, going back to my point, looking at it from a scalability point of view, this is a very much a scalable business for you. And again, as I said, you can do it as and when you want. If you're going on holiday, you don't need to be worried about making calls, but you can do it from holiday if you want to do it from holiday. So it very much is a lifestyle business, and it can work around you if you're a busy parent. Got to pick up your kids at 3 o'clock, etc. You've got to have school holidays off, and it works for all lifestyles basically.
Great, thank you. Salis has asked, when do you get paid? Is it when a deal is sold?
Okay, so generally speaking, so the investor, just to give you an example now, so I put a deal out, the investor now pays us, and the funds are held in an account. Now, if Salis is the deal sourcer that's bought us the property, we will now pay Salis upon exchange of contracts. And the reason why I do that very simply is because I'm not saying that anything would happen, Salis, but should something happen during the legal process and the investor pulls out because there's an issue with the property, we have a legal obligation to refund the buyer that fee, because it's not their reason for them pulling out. There may have been an issue with the property, could have been that there's a structural issue or something that's not been declared. Now, if we pay you out from the outset, I will then have to be chasing Salis and saying, Salis, okay, what's happened? This has happened. We need to get that funds back. And I'm not saying that you would, but if something happened, then Salis disappears off the face of the planet. The Property Investor Act would then be liable and legal for that, which is a position that we don't want to be in. So as a result of that, we hold on to the funds right up to the point of exchange of contracts. The moment that we're aware that it has been exchanged contracts, you then invoice us for your 50% of the fee, and then it goes through that way. If you're selling a deal to your own database, and you decide what you do with those funds, obviously, I always suggest that you get paid up front as opposed to afterwards. The reason being is that you know that the investor has got some skin in on the game from the outset, and you know that you're not going to be gazumped. You can't be gazumped because you've already been paid.
Great, thank you. We've got a few people asking, are there any other dates for the training? Because they've already got commitments on those 2 days.
I mean, to be fair, so I hadn't really put any other dates in place. However, what I can do is, if you wanted to book onto it, was it who was asking? Was it Sean, or no? Was it Olive Funke? Okay, so Olive Funke, if there are other dates that you can do, the first thing that you can probably do is, first of all, we record all the sessions, so you're going to get the recording for the 2 days. You're also going to get put into the WhatsApp group. Also, we're going to have a follow-up Zoom call so that you can see. I'd want you to watch the recording and then come into the Zoom call. If there are any issues that you have or something that you don't understand, I could probably make a provision where we could have a one-on-one call so that we could pretty much match up any parts that you've not picked up on, if that makes sense. So that's very much more tailored. So as you can see, I'm not a large training organisation. I don't want to be a Progressive. I don't want to be a PIN or any other training company, for argument's sake. I will try and cater it so that I'll try and get you guys off the ground as quickly as possible. One of the questions that's coming from Sean, she says, what time does the training start? It does start from 9 a.m. I appreciate that you work up until 10 a.m., Sean, but just bear in mind that obviously for the first hour on day one, we'll probably do a bit of break, just a bit of ice breaking, so you're not going to miss a lot, and you'll also have the recording to catch up on that as well.
Should we say then, if people can't make those dates, but they actually do want to attend, then they could sign up to this. They can see the recordings, and then there's an opportunity either for them to work directly with you. Perhaps this is another small group, or they're first on the next available date. As you said, you don't run them
Yeah,
very often.
absolutely. I've got no issue with
Great.
that.
So, Suki and Sean, if you want to just follow the link and sign up, and then Arsh can help you on the other side. Grace has asked how many people usually do this course.
We don't. I haven't run it for 3 years, Grace. If I'm honest, my main training is more so a mentorship, which is a once a year or twice a year opportunity, and the cost of those obviously £6,000 to £10,000. So I don't run these smaller training, but when we do, we get between 20 and 30 people on. So it's not a massive group. And bear in mind that obviously with the support that you're going to get, you're going to have the WhatsApp group, you're going to have the follow-up Zoom call, and with a small group like that, I'll very easily be able to cater and help with the after support as well.
Great. Mujiba has asked, I've just come on as I've missed some of this. Is there any recording of the webinar? So usually YPN, we don't send out the recordings, but obviously if people want to sign up to the training, then they can have access to anything. That's your call, Arsh, if you want to send these out, if people leave their details perhaps.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if they're already registered with YPN, I'll speak to the guys at YPN, see if we can do something for you, Mujiba. Is that okay?
Yeah, in that case, then if anyone wants to leave their email address into the question box, then we can follow up with you separately. And Corey has asked, how do you do deal trading on properties without seeing them?
So, Corey, the one thing that as I mentioned in the session, we work with lots of agents on the ground. So, if there's a local agent in that area, and especially if they're bringing the property to us, we try and get them to provide us with photos, video walkthrough, floor plans, etc. And also, if we needed to, there are other companies out there like Viewer, so which is VIEWBER. So you can pay them a small fee, anything from 35 to 50 pounds, to go and view that property for you. They'll go and do the videos for you, they'll go and do the photos for you, and so that is an option for you if that's what you wanted to do.
Okay, great, thank you. I suppose just one more question. Is there sort of a strict criteria on what makes a deal, and what makes you be okay to send it out?
That is $1 million question, and the reason being is that I've got a database of over the best part of 110 to 120,000 people. In that 110 to 120,000 people, everyone has got their own criteria. So just to give you an example, Salis may have his criteria that he wants a HMO generating over £1,000 a month. Luke may have his own criteria. He wants a buy-to-let which is 20% below market value, so that he can resell. Some people will be looking at the BRRR strategy, which is buy, refurbish, rent and refinance. Some people will be looking at a lease option. Some people will be looking at a rent to rent. Some people will want developments. So it's too far a scope. The one thing that I would suggest is that if you are looking to build your own database, I'm pretty much too far gone on the other side to now do this. But the one thing I'll probably suggest is that if you were to start from scratch and build your database, you could create a shopping list from your investors and say, guys, okay, tell me what you're after. Make sure that you can get engaged from them, so charge them a small fee for that service, and you can find them a deal accordingly. Now, I can't go back to 110 to 120,000 people and say, guys, give me a shopping list, because that would be a task that would be unfortunately something that I'd struggle to do. But in terms of the deals that I see that are selling is generally the properties which are income producing from the outset. So something like a HMO which is fully occupied. The ones HMOs that are fully vacant, they tend to sell. They do sell, but they take a little longer. The ones that are fully income generating from the outset are the ones that work really well.
That's great, thank you. And so if people come on the training and they are, let's say they get stuck and it doesn't look quite good enough, do you give them some suggestions, or perhaps in the training of ways that they can go back to the vendor and say,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Just because if the deal doesn't work from the outset or the figures don't work, the next thing that we do, we then reevaluate it, reevaluate it to see what else can we do to make this a better deal. And give you an example back on the Stockton on Tees deal that I mentioned in the webinar, is that the guy originally wanted to sell it. And from a sale point of view from the outset, it wasn't that attractive a deal. So we went back and said, okay, the figures don't work based on this, this, and this. However, if you allow me to structure it this, this, and this way, I think we've got a much better chance. And it's about educating the vendor as well. It's about educating the vendor. It's about educating the agents so that they know what you're after and how it can work. I'm currently in the process of structuring a small portfolio in Nottingham. The lady's actually based in Ohio, in America. And she's got a small portfolio of 10 properties in Nottingham. She wanted to sell them outright. I didn't think that as a deal they would work and sell as quickly as she wanted. So we've kind of structured it on a slightly different, on an exchange and a delay completion basis. So we've worked it, so, and that you've got to think of it from 2 points of view. That I'm a property investor first and foremost, and I look at it from a deal sourcer's point of view, but a property investor's point of view. From a deal sourcer's point of view, how can I add the value? From a property investor's point of view, what would make it attractive? So when you look at it from two angles, you'll definitely be able to put the jigsaw together.
Yeah, I think that's really important actually, and to be able to have that, both sides, so that people can understand that, property investors really will pay good money. I think the past 4 deals I've spent money on sourcing, I've bought these deals ranging from 2,000 up to 5,000. One was a 1-bed flat, another one was a block of 3 flats. Purchase lease options, vendor finance. One was a 10-bed HMO. So like it's if I can just buy this for a deal for 2 or 3,000, then it's an absolute no-brainer for me. So yeah, it absolutely is possible. So just to kind of finish off then, after the 2 days training, and people do everything you say and follow the whole process, how long would you expect before they find their first deal? I know it's a bit of a how long's a piece of string, but
I'm hoping that people will find their first deal on the workshop. If they follow the process, and then because it's an interactive session, I'm going to be going through it step by step, and whilst I'm doing it, I'd expect them to do it. And if they follow the process, they should come across opportunities. Bear in mind that some agents may be shut on a Sunday, so on the Monday, I'd expect them to be following up. Off the back of the following up, I'm hoping that by the end of that first week, we should be able to get some deals done.
That's brilliant. And obviously, you mentioned here that you've got a money back guarantee if for any reason people aren't happy. So there really is, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And there's lots of free information out there. I'm sure you'd agree on, how to trade these deals. But, the point is working with you. You've already got that database set up. You've already, you're packaging all that information in a very accessible and digestible format where that you're working alongside you to make that progress, because I'm sure people have, I wonder how long people have been looking at doing deal sourcing or trading for some time and just never got started. I'm sure you see that all the time, Arsh.
Absolutely. And so I think one of the questions that has come in, Shampa said, is there any pre-course reading? One thing I'll probably suggest to you, Shampa, is download the Property Investor app. Just have a look at the deals that we're doing. That is, testament of the kind of deals. I get emails from people every day saying, Arsh, how are you finding them? So Bala has just asked, how much is the course? The course is $997. I'll just give you a quick, there you go. If anyone is interested in the course, there we go. I'll put that up on screen. So go onto the Property Investor app, download the app, or it's called Property Investor. You can find it on the App Store, and then just have a look at the deals that are on there. And you'll start to see the different kinds of deals, and these are deals that no one else has done. If there were, how would I have been able to get access to them?
Right, so, I've just put the link in the chat box again with the dates, the 24th of April
sure.
and 24th.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, no worries. So people can just click in there and that'll take you directly to sign up, which is exciting. If you have already signed up, then please just put into the into the chat box and say I'm in. It'd be great to give you a shout out, and Arsh can know that look out for you when you sign up. So what happens, Arsh? They sign up today, and then when do they hear from you next, or what's the?
They'll hear from me as early as tomorrow. So literally, they'll get an email from us just confirming all the details. We'll get all the links set up. We'll get all the Dropbox with all the documents, so that they can start reading and going through that information as quickly as possible. What I might do is also throw in just some additional bonuses, like some other videos, some other little videos that I've done previously for other students, so that they can start watching it. I'm happy to do that. I'm quite, as I've said to people from the outset, I'm not one of these people that are a massive, oh, you can only do this if you come and do this. I don't run a massive training company. I'll try and help. I've got loads of resources that I can push onto you, and I can try and get you in. So Shampa says that she's in. Angela says that she's in. I haven't checked. I'll probably check with the guys tomorrow. And then any so Sally says, any reviews from previous students? So I'll tell you what. I think you saw a couple of the guys that are on the screen. I'll just quickly whiz through. That's Nick Swells. He's currently got deals going through. The biggest one that I can probably give you is a guy called where's he gone? So Russell. I've done almost like 10, 12 deals with him, and he's just a deal machine. He's actually based in Marbella. Sandy has done 3 deals in the space of 2 months. I've got a whole mentorship on this, which I don't promote on here. And these are guys doing deals on a weekly basis that have got no experience whatsoever. So, you guys are going to have a whole weekend with me. And as a result of that, we go from there. Gillian says, does this apply in Scotland? Just to let you know, this lady, which is on my screen, it's a bit of a coincidence, a lady called Sarah Park. She's based in Scotland. We've done multiple deals in Scotland with Sarah as well.
Great. Luke has asked, just to confirm, I guess the training is generic across the country and still useful for deals in London and Kent. So, if you missed it, yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously, when it comes to looking at HMOs, there'll be certain things that we'll look at for is the area article for, is there any specific licensing like HMO licensing, selective licensing, etc. We'll cover all that on the training. So, but that's part of the due diligence process.
Great. Kevin, where have you been? He says, I've missed the cost. What is the cost? Do you want to put the link back up with the slide and the cost for us?
Yeah, there we go. So there's a link, there's a cost. Like I said, guys, I think Michelle might be worth you. Just probably there's lots of people putting in their email addresses. If you wanted to send that recording to them, all the slides, I'm happy for you to do that. I've got no issue with that.
Fantastic. Okay, I think we've probably come to the end of that. So it's an absolute no-brainer, guys. If you can get your first deal over the line on that weekend, or within the first month, you've already paid for the training itself. As Arsh said, this is a one-off. He hasn't offered this. It's only a special YPN offer. We run these offers, very sporadically, and Arsh is a guest of ours, so we've invited him on to promote his training as well. So it's a no-brainer if you want to get into deal trading, deal sourcing, and it'll be a small group. We've got hundreds online to this webinar, but you'll be able to get all of your questions answered on those 2 days, as well as the content, all of the recordings, and the WhatsApp group. So really exciting and an absolutely fantastic value for you.
Brilliant.
So Arsh, any final comments?
No, well, guys, like I said, hopefully I've given you enough information for you to start researching it, and more importantly, get interested in. And as a result of that, I look forward to working with you all, and hopefully let's create some real success stories from you all.
Great. Thanks, Arsh. Thanks for your time today and for this fantastic offer. I'm going to leave the link up there on the screen, and we'll just leave it for 5 minutes to give people a chance to click the link in the chat box and sign up. If you need to speak to anybody, perhaps you've got a partner and you can't speak to them today, then just put your details into the question box and we'll follow up with you tomorrow. So have a great rest of your bank holiday weekend, and happy Easter all, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Arsh.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, I'm going to close the webinar now. Please feel free to take a screenshot if you would like to. This offer will be open until the end of the day, so take the opportunity and sign up, and Arsh will be in touch tomorrow. Look forward to seeing everyone on the next webinar. Take care. Bye-bye.